There is a reason Ram dealerships see the same trucks come back over and over again with destroyed engines and blown transmissions. And it is not bad luck. It is not even poor maintenance. It is 5 factory settings that Ram enables by default on every single truck they sell. The 5.7-liter Hemi has a 5 to 10% lifter failure rate. I want you to think about that for a second. 1 out of every 10 to 20 Hemis will literally eat itself from the inside. The lifters seize, grind the camshaft into metal shavings, and those shavings circulate through the entire engine until everything is destroyed. $9,000 to $12,000 to fix, sometimes more than the truck is even worth. And here is the part that should make you angry. One of the main settings that causes this failure is enabled by default from the factory. Ram knows about it, they have known about it for years. But they keep shipping trucks with the same settings because it helps their fuel economy numbers on the window sticker. These 5 settings are costing Ram owners $4,000 to $12,000 in repairs that did not need to happen. Here is what you need to change today. Number 5, Eco Mode. When you press that Eco Mode button, you are telling your truck to be lazy. The transmission holds higher gears longer, the throttle gets sluggish, and your engine runs at the lowest RPM the computer thinks it can get away with. Here is the problem. Low RPM underload is like trying to pedal a bike uphill in the highest gear. Yes, you can do it, but you are working way harder than you need to and wearing yourself out in the process. Your engine is doing the same thing. It is lugging, struggling to maintain speed, building up carbon deposits on the valves, and generating extra heat because it is not spinning fast enough to run efficiently. Over time, that carbon buildup chokes your engine. It cannot breathe properly. You lose power, your fuel economy actually gets worse, and you end up paying for an expensive cleaning job that would not have been necessary if you just drove the truck normally. Eco Mode also keeps the cylinder deactivation system running more aggressively, which I will get to in a minute. The combination of low RPM cruising and constant cylinder deactivation is terrible for long-term engine health. Turn Eco Mode off. The fuel savings are a couple miles per gallon at best, not worth the wear you are putting on your engine every single day. Number 4. Leaving tow haul mode off during normal driving. Most Ram owners only hit the tow haul button when they hook up a trailer. Big mistake. Without tow haul engaged, your transmission is obsessed with fuel economy. It constantly tries to stay in the highest gear possible, even when your engine is struggling under the load. On hills, in headwinds, or in stop-and-go traffic, the transmission hunts back and forth between gears, up, down, over and over again. That constant shifting wears out your clutch packs way before their time. Think of it like this. Imagine if every time you drove up a small hill, someone was rapidly clicking your gear shifter back and forth. That is what your transmission is doing to itself. Every shift is wear on the clutch packs. Every shift is heat building up in the transmission. Do that thousands of times and eventually something gives out. Ram's own manual says, tow haul mode extends transmission life by reducing excessive shifting and preventing overheating. Their words, not mine. Yet the mode is off by default and most owners have no idea they should be using it. When you turn tow haul on, the transmission stops hunting for that perfect high gear. It holds lower gears longer, lets the engine rev a bit higher, and only shifts when it actually makes sense. Your truck feels more responsive and your transmission is not constantly working against itself. Press the tow haul button on your gear selector. Use it on hills, in the city, in windy conditions, and obviously when towing. A lot of high mileage owners just leave it on all the time. The small hit to fuel economy is nothing compared to the $3,000 to $8,000 cost of a transmission rebuild. Number 3. MDS cylinder deactivation left enabled. This is the big one for Hemi owners. MDS stands for Multi-Displacement System, and it shuts down 4 of your 8 cylinders during light cruising to save fuel. Your truck goes from a V8 to a V4 without you even knowing it. Sounds smart. But there is a serious design flaw that Ram does not advertise. Your engine needs oil to lubricate the lifters, which are the little components that open and close your valves. On the Hemi, the oil reaches those lifters through the MDS system. Here is where it gets bad. The oil only flows properly to the lifters when MDS is actively shutting down cylinders. When it is not running, for example at idle or in stop-and-go traffic, those lifters are basically starving for oil. Imagine trying to keep a machine running smoothly, but you only give it lubrication half the time. Eventually, something is going to seize up. And that is exactly what happens. The lifters fail, they grind against the camshaft, and metal shavings spread through your entire engine. Once that metal gets into your oil, it circulates everywhere. Your bearings, your oil pump, everything gets contaminated. At that point, you are looking at a $9,000 to $12,000 repair or a new engine entirely. Most of these failures happen from 80,000 to 120,000 miles, conveniently right after the warranty expires. A customer brought his truck in with a faint ticking noise at 70,000 miles. 3 weeks later, the whole engine was toast, metal everywhere. The truck was worth less than the repair cost. He ended up selling it for parts. You can disable MDS by using the plus and minus buttons on your shifter to lock the transmission in 8th gear. That prevents the system from activating. For a permanent fix, the Range Technology MDS Manager costs about $100 and plugs into your diagnostic port. It disables MDS automatically every time you start the truck, so you never have to think about it. If you have a 5.7 or 6.4 Hemi, this is the most important setting on this list. Do not skip this one. Number 2. Exhaust brake left off on 6.7-liter Cummins diesels. This sounds backwards at first. Your turbo has little vanes inside that adjust airflow depending on how much boost your engine needs. They are supposed to move constantly as you drive, opening and closing to optimize performance. But if you never use your exhaust brake, those vanes just sit in one position for hours at a time and get gunked up with carbon and soot. Eventually they stick, and when they stick badly enough, you need a whole new turbo, $2,500 or more, because Cummins does not sell just the actuator anymore. You have to buy the entire turbo assembly. Most diesel owners only turn on the exhaust brake when they are going downhill or towing heavy. The rest of the time it sits off and those vanes sit still. That is actually worse for your turbo than using it regularly. When the exhaust brake is on, it exercises those vanes every time you let off the gas. It keeps them moving, keeps them clean, and prevents the buildup. Think of it like stretching a muscle. If you never move it, it gets stiff, and eventually something breaks. The ironic part is that gentle driving kills these turbos faster than hard driving. Owners who tow heavy and work their trucks rarely have this problem, because the turbo is constantly moving through its full range. It is the highway cruisers who baby their diesels that end up with stuck vanes. Find the exhaust brake button on your dash and turn on the exhaust brake. Leave it on during normal driving, not just for towing or going downhill. Your turbo will last significantly longer. Number 1. Auto start. Stop left enabled. Every time your Ram shuts off at a red light and restarts when you lift your foot, that is a start cycle. Your starter motor engages, your flywheel takes the hit, and your engine bearings spin up from zero before oil pressure has a chance to build. Here is why that matters. Starting an engine is the single hardest thing you can do to it. For a brief moment, metal is touching metal without proper lubrication. The bearings are spinning dry. The starter gear is slamming into the flywheel. Modern trucks are built to handle this better than older vehicles, but there is still wear happening every single time. It is not zero. Now think about how often this system activates. Every red light, every stop sign, every time you pause in traffic for more than a few seconds. A guy I know who delivers packages tracked his start-stop cycles for 1 month of city driving. His truck was starting and stopping over 60 times per day. That works out to almost 20,000 extra start cycles per year on top of his normal driving. 20,000 extra times per year that his starter is engaging. 20,000 extra times his flywheel is taking impact. 20,000 extra moments of his bearings spinning before oil pressure catches up. Even with beefed up components designed for the system, you cannot tell me that has no effect over the life of the truck. The really annoying part is the system resets every single time you start your truck. You have to press the button to disable it every drive. Most people eventually give up and just leave it on because they get tired of pressing the button every morning. The Auto Stop Eliminator costs about $75 to $100 and remembers your preference automatically. Plug it in once and never think about it again. Your starter and flywheel will last years longer. Every one of these changes takes less than a minute. Some are just pressing a button. Others need a cheap plug-in device, but none require a mechanic, special tools, or void your warranty. Do these today and your truck will be dramatically healthier at 150,000 miles than the trucks sitting in dealership service bays right now, waiting for engine rebuilds and transmission replacements. Those owners are about to write checks for $8,000, $10,000, or $12,000 because nobody told them about 5 settings they could have changed for free. If this helped you, subscribe so you do not miss our next video on the maintenance mistakes that send Ram trucks to the junkyard way before their time.